Hey there, Converge Nation. Pastor Ray here with our very own Pastor Trey, the outstanding, amazing, incredible student pastor right here at Converge Church. We just wrapped up our summer sermon series that we called That's My Jam. It was also Back to School Sunday. Pastor Trey delivered a word in season. It was an absolute game changer. We're going to recap it now, but let me welcome Pastor Trey to Rewind. Tell us a little bit about back to school. Tell us a little bit about today. What was happening?
To me, the most exciting part about today was when we got to showcase our students. We had a special video that we showed. I'd encourage anyone to go watch it. But the big announcement with it is that now, here at Converge, we will be meeting as a student ministry every single Sunday. So if you're watching this and you missed that, from here on out, we will meet every single Sunday with our 6th through 12th grade students. Huge opportunity for even more families to get plugged in because we now have that offering for anyone in that age demographic. And we are very excited about the move of God that's happening in our area of ministry.
Absolutely. Speaking of moves of God, man, tell us about what happened last Sunday in the Converge Students.
Yeah, so last Sunday, we obviously met as, we had our ministry time, and something shifted during our worship. And we went into a time of guided prayer. We try to be very practical with the students, so we don't want to just teach them about prayer, but let's actually walk through how to apply what we're learning. And somewhere in that process, man, the Spirit just dropped. And I felt prompted to do an invite, a call to Jesus, to salvation. And we ended up having 10 students respond to that. 6 of them were rededications, and 4 of them were first-time decisions for Christ. The best part, Pastor Ray, is that our leadership team, which we've been able to nearly quadruple in size over the last several months with just some winners and wonderful people of faith, they each made contact with all 10 of those students throughout the week, because if you're a parent watching this, we want to partner with you. We're going to walk with our students one step at a time, and we're going to meet them wherever they're at, whether they drifted away from Christ and they're getting back to him, or whether they don't know him at all. We're going to meet them where they're at, and we're going to walk with them one step at a time. And that's just a tribute to our team, our leadership team, and just their commitment to this next generation.
That's outstanding, man. Super exciting. It sounds like, it sounds like Converge Students is on the verge of revival. It sounds like you guys are actually in revival. Your leadership team has grown significantly. 10 decisions for Christ last Sunday. There have been these other special moments that you guys have had with Converge Students. And I think it's just going to accelerate, right, over the next several weeks, especially as you assume this new rhythm, this new cadence, worshiping weekly in the Verge. So August 11th. Tell me, though, about this morning. You ministered a life-giving message from John chapter 2. I think a lot of times when we think of the miracle at the wedding feast at Cana, the focus is usually around Jesus, but you flip the script. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little.
Well, I think to your point, in myself included, when reading that story of Jesus turning water to wine, a lot of my focus is often put on the power of Christ to perform these just illogical miracles that defy, Earth's natural law. But this time around, in studying for this message, I just felt like the Lord was burdening my heart from Mary's perspective. Jesus' initial reaction to Mary was, "My time has not yet come." And 3 verses later, he's saying, "Fill the jars up." What was it? What was it that moved the God of the universe in flesh to go from not yet to right now?
So good.
And it was that faith of Mary. And that's where we were able to dive in and unpack that she had a reliant faith. She had a selfless faith. But in my opinion, most importantly, she had an unconditional.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because this is a recap. Tell us what those 3 things are again, and then we'll sort of land. We'll land the plane on that third characteristic of Mary's faith. Okay, so number 1,
reliant faith.
Reliant faith. Tell us quickly what is reliant faith.
Fully relying on him, fully relying on Christ, no matter how big or small or illogical or unnatural the situation is. Mary did not allow the fact that Wine naturally is a long process to create. She didn't allow the fact that technically they didn't need more wine.
Right.
It wasn't like a blind man needing vision or a deaf man needing his hearing.
Right.
I mean, it was just, let's keep the party going, right?
Yeah.
She didn't allow the size of the need to keep her from turning it over to him. And I'm sorry, I was in a flow.
Good.
Hold on.
Or even the fact that the dilemma could have been the result of poor planning.
Yes.
Or overindulgence.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, that's right.
On the part of the people who were at the party. Maybe they were turning up a little bit too much. And so Mary steps into this as like, well, it's not really my fault. Why should I even care? Right? But she did.
She didn't let Earth's natural process. She didn't let the size of the need into what you just said, Pastor. She didn't let the human error stop her from turning it over to Jesus and then waiting for his instructions.
So good.
Then there's a selfless faith. You know, as we talked about in the service, Mary wasn't asking Jesus for more wine because she needed more wine.
Right.
It was on behalf of likely those who were hosting the marriage, the wedding, and not wanting to have any sort of embarrassment or bad reputation for them. So she was interceding on someone else's behalf.
Yeah.
And we talked about how to practically do that is whatever you're watching this video maybe believing God for, find someone else in your life that's believing for that same thing and start praying for them just as passionately and just as fervently as you would for yourself. And watch not only how God begins to move in that, but watch how he begins to move within you.
Absolutely.
And increase your own faith towards whatever it is you're believing him for, because that was the crux. Get ready.
Get ready.
Get your faith ready.
So good. So good. Third point. This is where we're going to land the plane.
Sure.
It's all so good. In fact, if you weren't here this morning in person, or even if you were here, I encourage you to revisit this message often. It will build your faith and encourage you to step into what God wants to do in your life now, but also what he desires to do next. Tell us about point number 3.
Unconditional faith. You know, it's easy to have faith when the conditions are right, when the conditions are met. I mean, that was that initial conversation with God and Satan in the book of Job. Consider my servant Job. I'm paraphrasing. Satan says, well, of course he's faithful. You give him everything he wants. But what about when those conditions start to look opposite of how we think they should look? Can we still continue to be faithful?
So good.
And I think Mary, what we looked at is we went all the way back to the beginning of Luke and had to see, okay, after she said, let it be according to your word, it wasn't easy street for her.
No, sir.
It was Joseph wanting to put her away silently. It was having a baby born in a manger, which I know we've dulled that up in our culture.
We sanitized it, right?
Yeah, right. But the truth is, I mean, not to be, inappropriate, but that's the equivalent to having a child in a dirty porta potty.
Right.
I mean, it's disgusting. And you would think most of us in our culture, if we're going to birth the Son of God, we're going to be expecting that first-class treatment.
Yes, sir.
Well, God, if I'm doing this for you, what are you going to do for me?
Right.
And then not only that, but then having to flee to Egypt for fear that King Herod was out to kill her son. You know, again, it's easy to gaze over that when reading, but the truth is, imagine you, if you have children, having to flee from America because someone is out to kill your child.
Yeah.
There's a fear and anxiety.
And even the weight that comes with that, the fact that every child 2 years old and younger was killed.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for Jesus.
That's right.
He survived, but all these other families, all these other parents, all these other fathers and mothers lost a child 2 years old and younger because they were looking for Jesus. Imagine being Mary, having to carry the weight of that. It's protecting your child.
It's unreal. And the thing is because she stayed faithful through the potential guilt and shame when Joseph was initially going to put her away. Through the fear and anxiety of potentially losing her son, through the lack and scarcity of feeling like, man, I'm having my child in this inn, because she stayed faithful, God was able to produce and build a faith within her that when she got out of that season and into a new season, it activated miracles.
It activated miracles. So good. She had established some patterns in her life, right? From the time that the birth of Jesus, right? From the birth of Jesus, that prepared her for this next moment in her life where they're confronted with this need. and she was ready for it. Go ahead.
And what's interesting is it didn't just activate the water to wine miracle. This activated the ministry of Jesus.
It did.
The faith of Mary.
Yeah, so good.
He initially, my time has not yet come.
Right.
But that faith
is
what made him say, go fill.
So powerful. Listen, we could be here for days, man, just dissecting and unpacking today's message. It was absolutely amazing, life-giving. I almost wanted to get into the whole part of God won't let you carry more than you can bear. Listen, you've got to go watch the sermon yourself. It's going to be available on demand on YouTube and on Facebook. We are Converge. It's right there. We look forward to connecting with you. Pastor Trey, thanks again. Let's give them one more invite for Converge students on Sunday mornings.
Listen, if you're a 6th through 12th grade student or you are a parent of a 6th through 12th grade student, I am strongly encouraging you, bring them out next week. We'll be here at 10 a.m. in the Verge, in sync with our regular service. Parents, you can go enjoy church. We'll take care of your kids, and we want to partner together with you to meet your young people, your kids, where they're at in their faith walk so that we can walk with them one step at a time.
Awesome. Last thing, sermon series that you guys are in?
It's called Every Day. All right, we're in a series called Every Day that's about building faith habits, how to walk this thing out every single day.
Awesome. Listen, thank you for joining us for Rewind. We look forward to seeing you for our brand new series starting August 11th called Stuff, Theology and Therapy, because we all have stuff. Look forward to connecting with you soon. God bless you.